going on, guys? So that little tail light, this one here, was something that was sent to me. So a company contacted me and said, do you want to do a review on a thing? And I was like, yeah, I like things, you know. I buy lots of cheap ass stuff off eBay and all sorts of weird places. So if anyone's qualified to do a review on things from the internet, then that's me, right? There's actual legit reason I need this here tail light, brake light, little number plate thingy. See, the bike's been sitting for a bit while I've been away, and you know, my current setup is like this mesh thing where it's concealed, and I was stoked at it all the time, but now I just realize it looks staggy as all hell. So I need to tidy that up. Plus, you know, something that looks more, you know, like normal and legal. So this little thing really appealed to me. Plus, the problem with this sort of setup is when I got a pillion on there, if they've got a handbag or a low-hanging piece of clothing or something, there's a risk of it being covered up, which is bad. So, yeah, let's try this thing out and see if we like it. Let's check out the build quality on this thing. Actually, first thing I want to do is just like pull it apart. So the piece of steel that's the backing here, it's pretty sort of sturdy looking, which is good because I need to bend it just a little bit to make it face where I want. That's just because my setup's a bit odd. With cheap stuff off the net, I've often had just really super skinny wires, and that they melt and break so easily. And if it's on the back end of your bike, especially if it's exposed, it's going to wave around a bit. So having a thicker gauge wire is good. Courteous of them to have the little bullet heads and stuff in there too. I've also got this little protector doodad. Some sort of, you know, it doesn't disappear into this plastic, which is okay. If I'm worried about it sliding around, I might just put a little double glue or silicone or something there. So this has got brake, tail light, and the clear panel is for the number plate light. Oh, it just pops right off. I mean, the lens seems alright enough. There's some little scuff marks in there, but that's no biggie, right? Fairly sort of standard looking LED stuff and some science. Well, good. Alright, I'm going to bolt this back together. Probably something else which is it's a positive note is that this back bit is a soft rubber rather than just being a hard plastic like I've seen in the past. So that's going to be nice that you've got that in between the hard plastic lens and this metal plate, because bolting those sorts of things together is just asking for them to just be cracked and destroyed. So I'm going to give this a bit of a tear down, and obviously my bike's going to be nothing like yours because I've reworked heaps of wiring stuff and whatever, but it's all pretty simple once you get in there. Just look up a wiring diagram. It's definitely something I recommend for your bike. Alright, so it's a bit of a mess down here, but these thicker wires are my new wiring I put in a while ago for a different taillight configuration, and then these super skinny little ones are these lights which light up the license plate. And that's what you get when you buy really crappy quality stuff, is these are awful. They just melt with the soldering even on lower temperature, and they'd snap in the connection here, and you've got to like resolder it to replace them and stuff. They were crap. So I'm glad to be gone with those because they weren't a long-term solution. Well, I got this off as well. You can see my old license plate mount. It's the same sort of design as this, where it's just a single bar across the top, and that might be one criticism of this, not necessarily this product, but this design, is if you've got a bike that has vibrations and stuff, you'll end up damaging your number plate, and so you've got a bit of a split going on in there, so I've had to add reinforcing. So there's ways around that. I don't know, living somewhere where they make your number plates out of decent material, or like I have, just putting some bracing in there which stopped it. So just worth noting. The other little customization I'm going to do is just get it right is with the bracket, is I'm just going to bend the lighting bracket up a bit so it's pointing out straight. Just wrap this in a bit of a rag so I don't destroy the paint. I'll see if I can bend it just by hand. The steel is thick looking, so it, like maybe about 3.5, 4 mil or something like that. But if it's it shouldn't be too hard. Oh. Jeez, I take that back. I need a hammer. Alright, so I'm just sort of roughing everything in. I've been doing a few other little restorations off camera, just cleaning up this surface to eventually repaint, and got rid of this daggy one that I just really didn't like, and going this, which matches what I've got near the exhaust. I'm going to paint it up, but just going to rough it all in and sort of just see how it looks to figure out where to go next. So they've given us these 3 bullet connectors. So we've got an earth, a running light, and then your brake light. You could, there's probably 2 ways to hook this up. You can buy bullet connectors. So these are the wrong size ones. But you can buy bullet connectors, which you can just crimp onto your wires, so snip and then crimp. These actually look quite a similar size to what comes on a lot of Japanese bikes. They look very similar to what was on my mate's XJ6. Or you can do what I'm going to do, which I'm going to snip them off and solder it on. I do it this way because that can't vibrate loose, and it's a little bit more compact because I'm tucking it up under here. So it shouldn't be too hard to figure out what's wired to what. Other times it's labelled, which is nice. Other times it's really easy to find a wiring diagram online. Or you can do what I'm going to do, because I've got a mess of wires down here, is just a bit of trial and error. Alright, with trial and error is not ideal. If your bike's got sensitive electrics, who knows what's going to go on. But my bike does not have sensitive electrics, and I've done this sort of thing before. The risk is that you cross wires and they short out. So yeah, if the past me was any sort of gentleman, the black should be earth. I've got 3 lots of red here, 2 lots of black, so I was just running multiple setups down here. So let's try. That would be, so that's the brake lighting up, but that should be the running light, so that means these guys go together. And then this would be my brake light. Easy peasy, let's solder this up. So for soldering these things up, you're going to need a soldering iron, obviously, some solder with resin and stuff, and heat wrap is your best friend. Stop stuff from shorting out. Alright, so this is my redesigned grille. I'm going to zip tie this in, and I'm even just going to keep my previous light setup that I have back here, because as someone who commutes a lot, I see no harm in having maximum visibility. Well, cheers for sticking around what ended up being a long video, but I really wanted to test this thing out and give you guys some honest feedback, and I was legit happy with it, and I'm going to keep using it on my bike. If you like this sort of review stuff, let me know, and I'll do more of it, because I like stuff and I like bolting it to my bike. So cheers for watching, guys. See you next time.